Good afternoon. As I looked over the dispositions and took the survey, a few stood out of areas where I am particularly effective. For me, respect for diversity, honesty, and advocacy are areas where I think I am strong. Looking at respect for diversity, I can relate to students of many cultures as I have had many opportunities to live in several environments both locally and internationally. I am open to student struggles and assimilating to a classroom that might be very different than home. I will not tolerate or minimize inappropriate behavior regarding diversity in the classroom. As for honesty, as a teacher, I need to be aware that many of my students might not have trustworthy people around them, and I might be the only role model or stable person in their life. To build positive relationships, I need to be upfront and honest with students about what they are facing in the world and in curriculum. Transparency and openness is vital to building a community within the classroom. Finally, with advocacy, as a student who struggled academically, I understand how it is to how important it is to have a teacher that fights to get your assistance and compassion needed to succeed. As I plan to work with younger students, it is vital that I constantly advocate for programs and special assistance to help them be their best. With students or parents, when students or parents can't articulate what they are needing, it is my job to step in and provide those services to them. Along with those strengths, taking the survey pointed out disposition that is weaker for me as well. Reflection can be a struggle with limited time in a fast-paced classroom. Sometimes you have made it through a particularly rough lesson or behavior issue, you're anxious to move past it, but it is important to remember to look back on what has happened so you can know what was successful and what did not work as well. My plan to try and implement this in the classroom would be to host a community circle where all students and educators are able to share freely what they enjoyed or struggled with and hear each other's feedback. This can be done after a lesson, units, or behavioral struggles. With dispositions such as fairness, respect for diversity, and compassion, I can look beyond myself and relate to other students and families. It is important to build a community in the classroom where all students and families feel safe sharing their cultural experiences. No one should feel ashamed of who they are and not be comfortable being themselves. By practicing this disposition daily, we can create a safe environment for everyone and appreciate the talents they bring into our classroom. In contrast, holding personal biases can create a negative environment in the classroom and lead to distrusting relationships between teacher, student, and family. It is so important that all kids feel cared for and accepted in school so they can focus on learning rather than social issues or feeling like they can't ask questions. I try my best to put all students on a level playing field and treating everyone equally while noting students' particular needs and addressing them appropriately. Part of being in education is being evaluated, whether that be through evaluations, observations, or test scores. It is important to see these as opportunities for growth rather than a negative. Some people have a difficult time with feedback, especially if it is negative. I think the only way to grow is to have someone outside yourself reviewing what you are doing in the classroom and giving you tips or advice on how you can do better. This is where disposition, such as professional conduct or dedication, come into play. Just as I provide students with feedback and constructive criticism, it is important for them to see me taking that criticism with a professional demeanor and building upon that. With that, just as I ask my students to be lifelong learners, I too must model that. It is important for me to continue to strive to learn new things to help my students and know that a teacher's education is never finished. Thank you.